All right, so in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at 10 tips for you to save money faster for your next big purchase. Stay tuned. All right, so if you're trying to save money for, let's say, a big trip, a honeymoon, a wedding, or anything that's a little bit more of a, hey, it takes a little bit of time to save for that item, there's a few little tips and insights that you could use to go ahead and reach that milestone a little bit quicker. So that's what I want to share with you in this video. So let's get to it. Let's start with number one, and that is to cancel unnecessary subscription services and memberships. So things like streaming services, like, you might have a Netflix subscription or a Disney subscription. You could go ahead and cut those out, and that could save you a little bit of cash for that big purchase. Gym membership, if you don't use your gym membership, obviously that's a no-go. You could always work out at home. But if it's something that you use, of course, health is quite important. And then there's also subscription boxes. So if you have subscriptions for things like makeup or gift boxes or socks, I've seen all kinds of different subscription boxes out there. They usually just chew away at you rather than buying the item at a store, simply because they're recurring. And how many things of shampoo do you really need? Or how many things of razor blades? Or maybe even oils or anything else that you really need. A lot of times you just need that product a little bit and then it's good for quite a while. So I've seen a lot of the subscription things get to waste, especially by the time you get to, let's say, the 5th month or 6th month after that. Okay, let's look at item number 2, and that is look for coupons, sales, or even refurbished items. This can help you get good deals on some of your expenses and help you save money. So coupons, for example, Kohl's, they throw out coupons, and even Joann's, they throw out coupons out there quite a bit. So these things you can definitely get on sale and deals, especially if you're making like gifts, crafts, projects for Christmas, birthdays, holidays, those kinds of things. They'll save you quite a bit of money by looking at those coupons. Obviously, if you have a job that's making quite a bit of money and income, you don't want to spend, 5-6 hours doing a coupons where you're only saving maybe $10 on the deal, where you could be spent better suited with your time to go in and work at your job and make more money. All right, let's take a look at number 3, and that's going to be sell some of your old things. So look at your house and try to find items that you no longer use or need and list them on eBay, Facebook, Marketplace, and those kinds of things. So if you have things laying around in the garage, maybe you inherited some old tools that you need to get rid of. Well, in that case, this is a perfect time and opportunity. So if you have a big purchase that you're trying to get to and pay off certain things, even if you're trying to pay off debt, get rid of some of those items like clothing or maybe things that you don't use around the house. They're just kind of sitting around there. I got rid of paint sprayer that we used for our house. So you could go ahead and get rid of some of those larger purchases as well that maybe you just use once or twice periodically or just need for a temporary short use. So make sure they're gone rather than just sitting kind of in your garage or basement. Okay, let's look at the next thing, tip number 4, and that is buy store brand version of products. So when you're looking at store brand version of products, you're really going to be able to save quite a bit of money on your food expenses on a recurring and consistent basis, because the quality is usually very similar to the alternative brands. So take a look here. There's a lot of stores that do this, but Walmart, for example, they have the great value products. So if you look at something as simple as ketchup, so what you're looking at right here is, here's a couple of sponsored items, and you can see this is 7.4 cents per ounce. This sponsored ketchup bottle is 8.9 cents per ounce. This one, because it's an upside down bottle, the cap is probably a little more expensive to make. It's 10.6 cents per ounce. But as we start going, look at the difference here. I'm paying 3.7 cents per ounce for this ketchup bottle, whereas I'm paying 7 cents on this one, 8 cents, or 10 cents on that one. So nearly 3 to 4 times as much for the price. Think about it like if you're buying a TV and you could buy one for $200, or you could buy one for 4 times the price. That's $800 or so. So that's a big difference. So here, this can start to add up as well. And you can start scrolling down. You can see there's 3 cents, 3.6 cents, 12.4 cents, 3.5 cents. So you can see there's a big difference in terms of the costs. In terms of the value, is it really 4 times better? Is it 3 times better? It may not be, but in your case, if you love ketchup, then by all means, feel free to spend money on it. But there's certain things that you may want to choose and select that you want to go ahead and spend a little bit more money on. So this is kind of tip number 4, is to buy that store brand version of the products. Another thing that you can save money on is to use your bicycle as a primary form of transportation. This way you can save money on gas as well as get some good cardio in. So this could be very helpful and handy if you commute to work. The gas money, I don't think it's going to be a huge big difference for a lot of people, especially if you have a small commute. Now more people are working from home. But what can happen is if you're maybe in a southern climate, like let's say Florida or California, and you're going to work, what you could do is cancel your car insurance or even sell your car if you're just planning to go ahead and just commute to work by maybe by walking, riding your bike, or even picking up a scooter. So that could really save a lot on car insurance, especially if you're younger. Let's say you're in your 20s and your car insurance is really expensive. So those kinds of things can be more economical. Okay, let's take a look at the next one, and that is to invite friends over instead of going out. So anytime you go out usually results in spending money, much more than you think or would realize. So organizing a low-cost gathering at home, like let's say playing board games, could be even more fun or interesting. You get to interact with people. But also saves you quite a bit of money because once you start going out, whether it's to movies or, they say the most popular high school activity for teenage girls is to go to malls and shopping. So if you can stay in, that'll usually allow you to save a bit more money. So if you go to a movie theater, you can save money on the you're going to spend money on a ticket, then you're going to spend money maybe on popcorn or drink, or maybe something to do afterwards as well. That can start to add up on top of the gas money that you're spending on your vehicles. Okay, let's look at tip number 7. That is to start a side hustle. Normally, when you really think about it, cutting expenses, it can only take you so far. So sometimes the best way to save more money is by making more money. So things like delivering food, Uber driver, pet sitting, working as a virtual assistant can be a great way to get some extra cash to reach that big purchase as quick as possible. Because remember, when you look at cutting expenses, there's only so much you can cut. Eventually you get kind of to the bottom. Maybe you're already saving quite a bit of money. At a certain point, there's just no more room to cut. There's maybe a tiny bit, but you're only doing a tiny bit of a dent. Later on, what you have to look at is, okay, well, what about my upper growth of income? What can I do to grow that income? Because that's going to fuel that bank account, and you'll be able to buy that bigger purchase a lot faster. So at that level now, you're going to see, hey, how can I quickly increase that? And that's really by making more money, whether that's a higher paying job, a side hustle, anything that you can do to grow that income that can really get you to that area a lot faster. Let's check out tip number 8, and that is to say no to other big purchases. So if you're cutting back on your expenses, but you are still buying expensive items, it will be difficult for you to save for your next big purchase. So if you're going to a store and you're like looking at maybe, let's say, a new iPad, and you want to go in and grab a new tablet, that is going to be, it's going to chew away from you being able to achieve and get that bigger purchase that you're looking for, or maybe save for that wedding, or save for that trip or travel. So instead of buying a brand new camera, go out and avoid those purchases for now until you achieve or attain that big purchase that you're actually truly looking out for, rather than the one that's maybe like a impulse purchase. So that's kind of what you want to do, is just, hey, hold off on those bigger spending purchases, or wait a couple days to really think about it, because it'll slow down when you get your other primary bigger purchase. All right, let's look at tip number 9, and that is to cook your own meals and make your coffee. Ordering takeout multiple times a week or spending just $10 at a local coffee shop can add up very quickly, and it can hurt your bank account. So it's a recurring purchase that many people do, but if you're making food at home, you can easily save quite a bit of money, especially with some of the more expensive things like meat products. So you can definitely cook those things at home and just save quite a bit of money, and maybe even get it better quality. If you're going to a coffee shop, that also can be expensive, because not only will you buy a coffee, sometimes you'll give a tip, which adds to the cost of the coffee. You might go ahead and buy dessert or a sandwich or a wrap or a side or a soup or a salad. So that also can start to, put a little bit of a dent in your wallet. And then the final tip I have for you is to go ahead and try to renegotiate your expenses. This may take a few phone calls. If you're trying to renegotiate, like let's say your rent, your phone bill, insurance plans, or other expenses, and you can see if you can negotiate a better rate. Now, this doesn't always work out, but with some things that where you've been maybe a loyal customer for quite a bit of time, you might be able to go ahead and negotiate that rate and maybe reduce, let's say, your cell phone expense. If you're paying $80 a month, maybe you might be able to get a new plan that's $69 or $70 a month. So sometimes you might just not be aware that there's a better deal if you just redo that service or re-sign up, because they've changed their plans and upgraded things. So they don't always notify old customers or just upgrade them to a better plan. It's just more of like you have to do your due diligence and just take a peek. I've had this happen with my internet plan where in the past I was paying, I think, $49 a month for a certain service, and then for for just downgrading one plan, you could save like $10. Or on the other hand, where you can upgrade for just $5 more, you get like twice the power or speed. So it's kind of good to just recheck those things. And if you're trying to save a bit of money, you can just reevaluate what plan you're on. So anyways, I hope that helps and gives you some tips to saving for your next big purchase. Look at those things. Obviously, there's many more things that you could do, but remember that there's only so many things that you can do to cut your expenses. Ideally, you'll want to be looking at, hey, how can I really grow my income? But if you're trying to figure out places where you can cut, maybe this is a starting point to help you achieve and attain that big goal or next big purchase faster.